Yo, 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 what up, what up, what up? It's your girl V-Henny, man. You already know the vibes. Welcome to the Artistry, where we talk shit about music, entertainment, and the everyday struggles. And we got your boy right here, the man with the plan, Uglymoney Nietzsche. What up?
What's going on? I appreciate you
doing?
having me. I'm good. I'm blessed and highly favored.
I know, I see that. I'm like, I want to be like you when I grow up.
Hey. You keep going. You're gonna be fine. Be better than me.
I appreciate that. Before anything, I just want to say congratulations on everything you've been accomplishing. Super inspiring, and motivational as well.
Respect.
Like it's definitely dope. Me having you here, I'm like, I know you're used to the interviewing people. You
I know,
understand?
right? Yeah, this is gonna be a change of pace. I gotta talk more. I'm like, oh, okay.
We gotta talk about you, man. You gotta talk about you,
I'm
so,
usually, yeah.
I know you're a busy man. So again, like, just thank you for that, and for your time in itself. It's a beautiful thing, just
All
having
love.
you here. So, I want to just say, fun fact about you, to those that don't know, I found out you play the drums. You used to play the drums.
Well, she be doing her research. Okay.
You used to play the drums.
Funny thing you say. I played drums all in high school. And,
Okay.
I went to college. I was actually a percussion major. I actually played drums in college. Got a scholarship for it. And then I went to VCU. Shouts out VCU.
Okay.
And I was about 2 years in, and I realized I was like, hey, I don't want to be a band director when I get out of college. And so I switched my major to mass comm.
Okay.
And I remember that the end of that, and not really consulting with anybody. I switched my major to mass comm, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to do radio, broadcasting, stuff like that. And so at the end of the semester, the bill comes, and I'm like, whoa, wait a minute, hold on, what do you mean? Like, why I gotta pay? He's like, well, you got a music scholarship, you're not a music major anymore. And so I got hit with the bill.
Time out, we just playing.
Nah, but yeah, I used to play the drums. I got a couple of chops. I was more of like a, symphony orchestras and stuff like that.
Okay.
I used to do all that crazy
I
shit.
thought that was dope because I feel like in my past life I was a drummer.
Yeah, it is.
You understand?
Drummers
Like,
have a different. We're different. We're built different.
Oh.
We march by a different beat.
Yeah, you guys do. You understand?
yeah.
Like now, I'm like, because you went from what I noticed, what the research I've done.
Mm-hmm.
You went from playing drums. Obviously, you pursued a degre in music.
Yeah.
And the crazy now, you was rap because I know you was rapping too. You used to rap.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know. She does her research,
You
ladies
used
and
to
gentlemen.
rap, son. Yeah, I was
Used to do a
like,
little something. Used to do a little something.
so I mean, you was really rapping it. You understand? Nah, but I know you retired in 2018. And then that's when you went to the back end. The reason why I love this story in itself is because I went from media. Before media, I was actually rapping too.
Wow.
So I love the fact that I can relate to that. You understand? To the whole struggling as an independent artist. So we already know it's not easy.
No, it's not easy at all.
And the fact that you're actually helping so many artists with, just with the branding, the A&R, artist development and all that stuff, I think is super dope,
I appreciate it.
I want to know what motivated you, though, when you took that initial step of retiring, what motivated you to being that rapper going out into the, the back end person?
Motivation was just being in it. Like I got signed to 8 Ball and MJG Push Management in 2014, and that's how I got to Atlanta. They was 8 Ball was just like, brother, you need to move to Atlanta, because this is where it's at. So I moved to Atlanta, thinking I was going to be a rapper, and in doing our course of my career, I realized I'm like, man, it's just some things that I'm missing in my campaign that I can't exactly get right. And I'm like, because at the end of the day, I was hardworking. I knew to work hard. I knew to move around. I knew to network. I knew, to rap my ass off. I knew all those things to do. And I'm like, wow, it's still not getting me over the hump. And then, I started getting a little older, and I'm like, well, there's more gray hairs going than black hair. So maybe it's time to maybe think about, instead of, retiring and becoming a coach type of situation.
Yeah.
And so when I made that decision or whatever, I really spent the next 2 years of my life dedicating to finding out how to make an artist bigger and how to get an artist on. Because I knew personally how to get signed because I got signed myself. I knew exactly the things I need to do. I knew what, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, well, how do I get it to the next step of blowing up?
Gotcha.
And so, I became extremely obsessed with promotion and marketing and media. Because I believe that those are the things that artists need and that they just sometimes overlook. And so my obsession with that is just finding out, hey, what was I missing as a rapper that I needed to make me made me actually turn into what I became today.
And what was that?
So everything, A&R, marketing, we do marketing promotions, A&R, everything. We rap trapping out here, man, a hip hop renaissance, man.
I see that. And that's what I was gonna ask you because I'm like, where the position you're at now, like if you was to see your younger self, what would be some information you would give to your younger self,
I would tell the rapper Nietzsche, whose name was P Nice.
P Nice, what up, P Nice? I hope you're hearing this.
I would tell him to invest 80% of your money into promotions and marketing. And I would tell him to take the other 20% and make sure that you got a solid product.
Like that.
I think it was kind of switched over for me. I would go get the major feature with the big budget video and have the girls in the cars and then
the whole cliche.
Yeah, and a whole teeny little budget to push it out there. Like, oh, we'll put it at the bottom of World Star. Like, no, you need to be everywhere. And and so that would be my industry advice to myself 5-6 years ago.
I love that you're speaking about this, right? Because let's keep it a buck now. Like like you said, the mistake you made, which a lot of indie artists made as well or are making, they're not understanding investing, the investment within this industry. I'm from New York, the Bronx, and I grew up with, I'm not saying you did, you probably know this term as well, but scared money makes no money.
Yeah, right.
You understand?
Yeah.
And whenever you have a product or, you as the brand, you have to put that money in. And then,
there is no dope on the market that you can put $0 in and become a millionaire. And I just don't understand sometimes how artists feel that they I ain't gonna put no money into this career. I'm gonna do everything free. I'm gonna get my beat off YouTube for free. I'm gonna record this at my house for free. I'm gonna do everything for free, and I'm gonna be a millionaire. And I just don't understand it. Like there's no business that does that. Yeah. And so it's just basic rules of business. Like you get out what you put in. So if you put in a lot or whatever, you know what I'm saying. If you're making the right moves and you got a good product, you're gonna get a lot out of it. And I tell people that every day. Like free is too expensive. I live by that. I think I'm about to get that tattooed. Free is too expensive.
It really is. Though, but that was the question because I'm like, how do you understand or do you understand why they don't think like that, or have you met an artist that you felt like they had the it package but they didn't understand it and you had to somewhat coach them?
No, every day.
Okay.
Every day. Because artists think that this game is based on talent.
Yes.
And it's not. That talent's like 10% of it. It's a business. So at the end of the day, 90% of the business, the talent is just the icing on the cake. That's optional. You know what I'm saying? And I hate to take the joy out of it. I'm not trying to take the joy out of anybody. At the same time, I believe talent is good. It's going to keep you on because you're the fact that you're talented. You can continue to make these dope songs that's going to keep you on and make you rise to the top. The people that have the business mindset as well as the talent usually become our A-list artists, because they got like Future, but he has the talent, but at the same time, he's a very savvy businessman. 50 Cent, Jay-Z. I mean, are you serious? You know what I'm saying? Well, these guys are businessmen, but they just happen to have extremely high level of talent. And so a lot of artists think that they can just rely solely off talent, and that's just not enough these days. There's too many people rapping. And
it's oversaturated. But do you also think now in your position as an A&R, do you think being an A&R or A&R in itself is a dying art?
I think artist development is a dying art.
Okay, why?
Because of the fact of social media. Social media has given everybody a voice. You know what I'm saying? Where it's a situation where this guy may be nobody today. He does something funny on TikTok and it starts going viral and he's at $10,000, $20,000 a show. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. It's so but the artists, before they get to that major, I would say A-list level, they all gotta have it. They all get, like, you can tell the difference between somebody that just popped off this year and somebody that's been developed for 5 or 6 years or whatever. I mean, even their interviews are better.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Where, you saw a situation where Chief Keef, his first interview on The Breakfast Club, he was raw off the street. You could tell it. He asked him, how old you is? He's like 300. He really didn't talk a lot because he didn't have that kind of proper training.
Yeah.
But when you get somebody, you know what I'm saying, that's been around the industry or whatever and actually had some coaching or whatever, they'll be a little more seasoned.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I definitely agree with you. Like, that's why I was just wondering, because I feel like that's also a reason why, and you're right, artist development. I do agree with the artist development. I feel like a lot of artists are lacking that. And the reason why we're talking about it is because you do work with artists. You do, and you deal with that aspect. And I know it's not an easy thing to do, So now, like, how do you take everything in as Nietzsche, the brand, and not try to bring work with you at home?
When is work ever over? Sometimes you got to leave some time for yourself.
Okay.
You got to deplug from anything. You just got to, just unplug and just reset and recalibrate. So, when I usually go home, I got a office at my house, but when I leave out that office, I'm back to Phil.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And and you have to do that. Sometimes you got to cut that phone off because you will burn yourself out, dealing with, and to the point where you'll start losing business because you're trying to facilitate all the business that you're getting. You'll lose business because your attitude's messed up because you haven't slept in 3 days.
Yeah.
And so sometimes you just got to, take a break for yourself or whatever. Like, look, I can't do it right now. And I've learned to tell people no. Like, hey, I have to turn down certain gigs because you know what? This is my me time.
When did you learn to say no? When did you start saying no? Because I feel like that's something that's like...
It hasn't been that long. I just learned how to say no probably like 2 years ago.
Okay.
I used to try to do everything. I used to try to make everyone happy. And that's misery. That's misery. That's a method to become broke. That's a method to become miserable and unhappy. You're not going to be able to make everyone happy.
Yeah.
No matter what. At the end of the day, I just say, I always want to be a man of my word, and I stand on everything I say. And if I said it, I'm going to do it.
Okay.
So, other than that, is if I say yeah, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. If I say no, I'm not going to do it. Period.
I mean, you got to respect it, though. Yeah. You understand? Like, again, you've been in this game for a minute.
Yeah.
It's not like you just started 2 years ago. You've been in this game for a minute, so it comes to a point where you have to understand your value.
Yeah.
You understand, and start having people understand that you are an asset. So that and sometimes it's, I don't know about you, but I know, like, for me, it was hard to accept who I am, accept my gifts. Like, were you always confident, or like did that take time where you came to a place where you learned to accept who you are as a brand?
Oh, I denied that all my life.
Okay.
I always knew that my gift was speaking and people. You know what I'm saying? I knew that was the gift that God had given me. I just wanted to be a rapper. And rap, I was not gifted as an artist. I was skilled. That's just 10,000 hours of countless hours of working on something over and over again to the point where you can rap like anybody, or rap, do any kind of rap rhythmic you want to do. That's just over and over, repetitive, doing the same thing over. I was never talented rapping. I sucked when I first started.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but you put a mic in my hand in front of some people, and I could always rock a party. I could always have something to say. You put a camera on me, I'm gonna be able to talk.
Gotcha.
And, and that's something that was non-scripted. And I remember my first day at the radio station. My first day, never been on the radio before. They give me a script to read, and I'm like, okay. And I go, and he's like, Power 107 blazing hip hop and R&B, home of the Steve Harvey Morning Show. And I'm like, and he's looking at me like, You went to school? And I'm like, no, I just read it like the radio people be reading it. And he was like, you're natural. And I'm like, so we always kind of knew that this was more my lane. But at the time, I kind of was in denial. I'm like, I want to rap. And when I finally, like I say, about not even 2 years ago, I finally just embraced it. I'm like, you know what? This is what I'm supposed to be doing. When I finally embraced it, I was like, I'm going to try to be of service to as many people as I can. Try to help out as many people as I can, doing what I love to do, but at the same time, doing what I'm great at.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? When I did that, I made, Uglymoney's made a lot more money than P Nice. In 2 years. P Nice was rapping since 2001, okay? And the money is it's ugly.
Yo, I mean, can I borrow that?
You know what I'm saying? But it's operating within your purpose. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When you finally find out, like, I believe that everybody has a genius level talent in something. You just gotta find exactly. You know what I'm saying? It might be popping bottle corks or whatever. You know what I mean? It might be, you know, who you could eat 50 hot dogs in 10 minutes. I don't know, but everybody has a superpower, and once you find your superpower and operate within it, you have no choice but to have success.
And you're right about that. Now I want to know how you transition from being radio personality now to just A&R.
Well, the radio, it's funny, a lot of the things that I learned in my career is based solely off of the fact that I wanted to rap. So I wanted to rap. So I started throwing parties because the guys that were throwing parties wouldn't let me perform a song at their party. So I started throwing parties. I was like, I'm going to throw parties. And then 3 months later.
I know they're mad right now.
Oh, yeah. 3 months later, my parties were bigger than them. But you know what? I hired them. Right? You know what I'm saying? I ended up hiring them. So when I hired them or whatever, and then, you know, so I get to the radio situation, I was like, hey, I want you to play my song on the radio. And they're like, no. I'm like, okay, cool. Well, I'm going to make so much, you know, I'm going to create a name for myself in this town so big, we're going to give me a radio job anyway. So guess what? 3 months later, they gave me a radio job. So I played my own damn song. Yeah. And so, you know, that's just my whole attitude with things. I'm like, hey, we can work together, or I'm going to work over you, under you, but I'm going to get to where I got to go. And so making the transition from radio to A&Ring, you know, it was cool. You know what I'm saying? I had to resign from the radio position when I got signed, and then, you know, it's just all part of the process. You know what I'm saying? I went from radio then back to music because music started picking up. I had caught a deal, and then went from the deal to A&Ring or whatever. You know, A&R is like coaching. You know what I'm saying? It's like literally going from Jordan to Phil Jackson. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and so, you know, but you know, shouts out to Freebandz. You know, they gave me a shot, and you know, it's been dope ever since.
How long have you been doing with Freebandz?
About a year and 2 or 3 months.
Okay.
It's not been that long.
Okay.
And you know, I got that through throwing events. I was doing a tour with Lil Wookie, and I did a Freebandz talent search tour. They liked the way I moved, and they was like, you know what, you can provide value to our company. And, you know, it was a no-brainer. They called me. It was like, hey, we want to meet with you. I'm thinking that they want to do another tour. They gave me a whole damn job. I'm like, oh, dope. So, you know, I wasn't expecting that.
That's dope.
Respect.
That's dope. No, like, listening to your process, within your career, what is the best advice that you have been given?
Wow. The best advice that I have been given. Your network is your net worth. I would say that. It's all about who you can call, and it's going to pick up the phone and listen to what you got to say.
Gotcha.
You know, your contact list is your power in this game. And you can get a lot more done with who you know than what you know. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know everything. But you know what? I know somebody that knows a lot of other things. I know, you know, I might not know how to change the carburetor on a Benz. But, you know, I know somebody that does, and vice versa. You know, I might not know how to cook lasagna, but I know somebody that does, and I can get some information on it. And so that's and that's where your network comes to play, of having resources or whatever. And that's what A&R is. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times we got to put the pieces of the puzzle together for our artists. Like, hey, man, you know, those beats are dope, but you really need some harder shit. You know what? I got a guy over here that knows a guy over here, and to get this guy in. You know what I'm saying? So it's just connecting the dots a lot of times. But yeah, your network is your net worth. I totally, solely operate off the fact that my network is strong and my face card, meaning, when I say face card, it's not a arrogant thing. It's just about being a man of your word. Like, people know, like, he's going to do what he says. And if you can brand that and people know that, you're going to be extremely successful in whatever business you're in, because it's just like, it's a trusted brand. It's like Johnson & Johnson, you know what I'm saying? It's like, hey, you know what you're going to get with the product. Now, you're going to pay more for a Johnson & Johnson product. Why? It's the same baby oil as the great value, but it's Johnson & Johnson.
Exactly.
It's a trusted brand. And so I really put a lot of time and energy into my brand and just making sure that it's trusted. Like, look, Nietzsche say, I get to perform for 10 minutes. I'm performing for 10 minutes. You damn right you're going to perform for 10 minutes. Nah, you 10 on 1? We're going to have to talk about it.
Yeah.
But you're going to get your 10 minutes, brother. No cap.
No, and you're right about that, because it's like, your network is your net worth, and I'm a strong believer also that relationship is currency.
Facts. Way more than money. Because you know what? As long as you got a relationship, you can always get some money. You can always get some money. You know, you're like, at the end of the day, you know, we have a good relationship. It might be 10 years down the line. Like, you have my boy B. Moss on here.
Yeah.
Crazy story about B. Moss. B. Moss was, he was a promoter that was just trying to, find his way.
I know.
And I saw his his drive, and I'm like, yo, you're going to come work with me. And you know what? He started working, and we did some business for like 2 or 3 years, and then he ends up moving away. You know what I'm saying? Like 7, 8 years later, we're both in the same city of Atlanta, and I'm starting to tour, and he just come off a tour. And B. Moss called. I call B. Moss, and I'm like, I'm not exactly sure how to promote this thing, because B. Moss comes over and gives me some game that made me a lot of. But it's just about if had that relationship not been strong, he wouldn't have came back. Years later, and this is off a relationship from 10 years ago. So it's just about, because it's a revolving door and the industry's really small. So you just want to try to keep, try to keep as many good relationships and positive relationships and meaningful relationships as possible.
And do you feel like that's kind of lost nowadays as far as like people caring about the trust, or people caring about, like being the person of their word, like?
No, definitely. I mean, that's why you have so many. That's why you got the scammers going rampant. You got people that are just getting scammed left and right. And I always said, like, in order to get scammed, at least in the music industry, you got to be trying to skip a step anyway.
Yeah.
So you know what I'm saying, like it's like somebody telling you, hey, I got this Mercedes-Benz for $1,500. It's brand new. If you give this man $1,500 when you know a Mercedes-Benz doesn't cost $1,500 or whatever, then you kind of were trying to skip the step. You were trying to scam your damn self.
Yeah.
And so like, unfortunately, it's not a lot of people out here that just stand up on what they say. But the few of us that are left, I see that eventually for the long haul do well. We might not win. We might not win that first quarter. Mm-hmm. But you know what? At the end of the season, when it's time to hoist up them rings or whatever, we're going to be there.
No, that's a fact.
Because you last longer.
That's a fact. That's definitely a fact. Before we wrap it up, because I know I love your energy.
Respect.
Your energy is super dope, and I know I may be wrong, but I feel like you are an open-minded person, So I want to know now, when was the last time you did something for the first time?
Wow. Managing China Monet. That's the first time I've ever thought about considered managing an artist.
Okay.
I met this young lady 7 months ago.
Okay.
And she just booked an impromptu consultation with me, and we got to talking, and something just told me, it was like, yo, work with her. You know what I'm saying? And I brought her to the studio. We got a couple of records out. And it was cool at first, but it wasn't like, oh my God, I need to sign her. And then I just saw her work ethic, and I was like, yo, it reminded me of me. I'm like, because she was going back and forth from Albany, like 2-3 times a week, which is like 3 hours away from Atlanta, just to record. And I'm like, yo, that's the kind of energy that I like to work with. Because as a manager, your manager can only work as hard as the artist works. So if you don't want to work on Tuesday, I can't work on Tuesday. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so when I saw that, and I'm like, okay, she can keep up with my kind of pace. And, I decided, to sign her to Uglymoney. She's the first artist. And like I say, 7 months ago, I think she had like 600 followers. I think she's like 34,000. And she's got countless features, and she's a full-time artist now. It's dope because 7 months ago she was working at Olive Garden. Now this girl's a full-time rapper.
Damn.
Yeah, it's a dope story.
I think I'm about to start rapping again.
But you know what that came from? That came from the last 2 years of me finding out and me figuring out how to make an artist go up. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I just took what I learned and applied it to her, and it's going good.
Well, that's dope. And I met her. She's super dope. Her energy is sweet. She's a sweetheart.
Exactly. She's a great person.
Yes, very sweetheart.
That's what I fell in love with.
Great energy, and I look forward to seeing her.
Look forward to it.
Succeeding where where you guys are taking her. You understand? Like it's super dope. So.
It's crazy. I was rapping for 17 years. I never got $1,000 a show. Man, them girls, people paying her $1,000, $2,000. I'm like, yo, where was all this money when I was rapping? And you know what I knew? I was like, that's how I knew that I'm operating in my purpose. Because if I can lead someone to that I couldn't lead myself, then I'm better as a coach.
That's fine.
You know what I'm saying? If I can lead you better than I can do it myself, then I'm you know what? Steve Kerr was a dope player. He was all right. He could shoot the three, but he's a great coach.
No,
amazing.
that's a fact.
Facts.
And the beauty to all of this is the fact that you understand that this is bigger than you.
Oh yeah.
You understand?
yeah.
And this is why you are where you're at.
Amen.
So I appreciate that.
Thank you for having me. I
Nietzsche.
really
Thank
enjoyed
you.
this.
I enjoyed this as well. When you come to New York, New Jersey,
We gotta pop out.
yeah.
Yo, son.
Yeah,
Word to mother B is crazy right now.
Shine, you already know, Shine, you know.
It's bananas, baby.
Yeah, but where can we find all your social media handle, everything?
Everything is Uglymoney Nietzsche. Uglymoney Niche. That's Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, everything. Uglymoney Nietzsche. Yeah.
You already know, guys, man. You will find all his information in the description below. There's no reason why you're not following the man. I want to say thank you to everybody who's tuning in, liking, subscribing, and just showing that support. Is your girl V-Henny, the artistry. We're out. Peace.